politics, that includes most administrative kind of works, that certainly includes any area of expertise or similar areas of mind that I have, you can, wherever you're working or wherever you are in your life, act in your mind as if that which you want is already here. And when you begin to do that, you're creating a miracle mindset. Truly, it was a miracle. Here's all the things that came about as a result of my doing that day after school. A whole lot of students, most importantly, were receiving special training after school. Those who wanted to volunteer for reading and mathematics and science tutoring were there. And the money was being funded for it. What better way can we think of to spend our federal tax dollars than in helping underprivileged people? I was working as a consultant and as a director of a program and getting paid additional money for it. I couldn't think of any better way for money to be circulating than into my household at that time. Since my wife was working part-time and I was working part-time and trying to go to school and fund everything, so all of that worked out fine. The school had a phenomenal new program that they could be very proud of and had hired some additional tutors and teachers. More people were working. And other schools in the district were now also becoming a part of it. The spin-off benefits for all of the people were just absolutely phenomenal. And it was all because I was willing to act as if what I knew I could do was already here, declare that, and then follow through on it. And you can do that in lots of areas in your life. As you develop your mindset for real magic, you must also learn to live according to your spiritual self first and your physical self second. Always keep in mind those crucial words, as you think, so shall you be. It's not as you be, so shall you think. When you're living according to your spiritual self first and your physical self second, what you are doing is realigning yourself. Miracles can only come to you and can show up and manifest in your life when you are aligned in this way. Let's just call your spiritual self your invisible self, and your physical self that which you see in the physical world. You've got to begin to make choices based on the part of you which is spiritual and knows how to guide you into the physical world. I'll give you an example. Every day I drive between my office and my home. The drive is about 17 miles. Now, there was a time when I would get into my car and make that drive, and then how I would react at the end of the trip would be dependent upon all of the things that had happened to me in the physical world. That is, if there was somebody that was slow driving in front of me, I might have my mood shift and I might be upset because I can't get around them and they're going too slow in the left-hand lane. There might be a construction delay. There might be a lot of lights changing that day. The traffic might be heavy going in the direction that I thought it shouldn't be. Any number of things in that 17-mile drive could determine how I was going to be at the end of the trip. What I've learned to do is to realign myself. Spiritual self first, physical self second. See, this isn't necessarily involved with going into church or anything. It has to do with understanding that you are a spiritual being first, and you can create in your mind that which you want in your physical world, and then proceed to have it happen through your intentions. So what I do now when I get into my car every day, when I get into it, at first I had to do it for a long time, and that would be I would just get in the car, and I sit down, and before I even turn on the engine, I just close my eyes, and I just picture and visualize through sort of like a meditative state, this is going to be a great trip. I'm going to be relaxed. I'm going to be peaceful. Whoever gets in my way, I'm going to bless them. If the lights turn yellow, I'm going to stop instead of rushing through them. If there's construction delays, I'm going to see that as the way it is supposed to be. I'm not going to get myself all worked up and all excited and full of stress on my way home today. Spiritual side first. I have now created a vision of how I want the next 35 or 40 minutes of my life to go. And as I think, so shall I be. Now I back the car out of the driveway. I'm very, very peaceful. And I come across a yellow light, and that vision is there, and I just say, okay, I'll stop for this one. I'm not going to rush through and take a chance. And the traffic is backed up. I stay right in the lane. I'm not shifting to the left or shifting to the right or trying to change anything. A little old lady who has taken the seat out of her car so you can just barely see her head above the seat is there, and sure enough, there she is testing me in the left-hand lane, going as slow as she can go, and I just acknowledge that she's in the right place, doing exactly what she's supposed to be doing. And I get to the office at about exactly the same amount of time that it always takes me if I would have rushed through and changed lanes and been all upset. And I get out of my car and I'm very peaceful and I walk into the office and everything is fine. As you think, so shall you be. Spiritual self first, physical self second. The reverse of that is to get in the car without even thinking, no thoughts, and just start driving. And then as you drive, you see there's the little old lady, and what is she doing there? Again, there go your thoughts. As you be, so shall you think. And now your thoughts start going crazy, and this shouldn't be happening, and I'm going to be late. And then a yellow light comes, you say, I've got to get through that. You go, and you just barely miss having an accident, and your blood pressure goes up, and the construction delay comes along, and you find yourself all upset. They're not supposed to be doing construction this time of year. Why don't they do it when they're supposed to be doing it? And you fill yourself with all of this stuff, and you arrive at the office full of stress, full of tension, all upset. As you be, so shall your thoughts are now coming as a result of your physical reality instead of the other way around. You want your physical reality to be the result of your thoughts. Spiritual self first. In your relationships, on your way home, you've got something to say to your husband or to your wife or to your children, and you just sort of just quietly, peacefully, meditatively remind yourself, I'm not going to make her wrong in this discussion. We have a disagreement. She wants to do one thing. I want to do something else. I'm not going to say anything that would be anything other than appreciative and loving toward her. If she says something that I disagree with, I'm just going to acknowledge her point of view, but I'm not going to get myself seduced into an argument. And you play this whole role out in your mind, and you go home, and as you think, so shall you be. It works out that way in a very loving way. In a business relationship, in a business encounter, you're trying to close the deal or whatever. Spiritual self first, physical self second. So you visualize it going the way you want it to go. You don't tell yourself that it's going to go wrong, that terrible things are going to happen. I'm not going to be able to close this deal. Nothing's going to work out. You visualize it the other way around. And if you go in there and it doesn't go the way you want to, you see that as an opportunity. You see that obstacle as something that's there to teach you a lesson. The universe is on purpose. There's no mistakes here, but what am I supposed to learn from this? You're very, very peaceful about it. You're serving. You're asking, how may I help? And when you finish the business encounter, your physical self, including the business transaction, works out pretty much the way you have processed it in your mind. So you can take the choice. Make your physical self the most important thing, and your spiritual self maybe follows. Or you can realign yourself to be a spiritual being, that you can work out in your mind that which you know you want for your world and how you want your world to be, and get that in your mind. Just like all great athletes do, just like all great performers at any level, they get a vision in their mind first of how they want the shot to go, how they want the ball to be, how they want the hockey puck to go into the net, whatever it may be. They see that vision first, and then they act out on it. It's a spiritual, then a physical, not the other way around. In the development of your mindset for miracles, remember, you can never get enough of what you don't want. You can never get enough of what you don't want. The person who is pursuing things and knows that they're not good for them is living out that paradox. Here's how St. John of the Cross describes it in one of his most brilliant and poignant poems. He says, if you had come to taste all things, then do not seek to taste anything. If you had come to possess all things, then do not seek to possess anything. If you had come to be everything, then do not seek to be anything. To reach that which you do not know, you have to go by the way where you know nothing. To come to possess what you do not possess, you have to go by the way in which you have no possessions. To reach what you are not, you have to go by the way in which you are nothing. You have to understand that in the physical world, all of those things he talks about are in the physical world. That's not who you are. Out of nothingness comes every thought. Out of nothingness comes every sound. Out of nothingness comes the sight. When you close your eyes and there's nothing there and you open them, it's out of nothingness that something arrives in your life. As paradoxical as it sounds, it is the mindset for the miracle worker. Surrender, trust, turn away from outer accumulation and achievement, and allow yourself to be guided and purposeful. There you'll find a very peaceful place in your mind. When you achieve this blissful state, you'll find yourself more active, more fulfilled, and the rich